So we're talking about chen, we're talking about beauty, how to be beautiful in God's eyes. And we want to be beautiful because we want all of our prayers to be accepted. Now you should know God always believes that you're beautiful. But there's an element from our perspective that we can relate to, which is if there's somebody that doesn't have chen in my eyes, it makes me hard to want to just give them everything. But like we said, your own child who has so much grace in your eyes, has so much beauty in your eyes, you just want to give them everything. And we're not talking about, God forbid, messed up motherly figures. We also hope that they understand if their child, that they would want to give to their child everything. But we can understand that in a healthy parental mother-father situation, that you just want to give everything to the child because they have chen, they have this beauty. And we said the reason why the Klal Yisrael, our tefillah is not being accepted because we lost our chen. How do we lose our chen? Because we're not learning Torah. So where did the chen go? Where did that beauty go? It fell Eitzlum. It fell to Hollywood. And it fell into places that are not so nice. It fell into the big lights and the big productions. And it's sad because now we seem to think that the beauty of the world is there. But we know that Koheles, King Solomon, the wisest of all men, teaches us that sheker achein vehevel hayofi. Sheker, there's such a thing called sheker achein, false chen. Sheker achein. What are those pens? Oh, thank you very much. There, that's it. Every guy is Friday night can't wait to sing it to his wife. Sheker achein. So sheker achein. Sheker means what?
Lies.
The lies. False. Hevel. Hayofi. So sheker means false, lies. The lies of chen. There's a chen in the world that are just a big lie. It's a big lie. And it looks so nice. And it looks so good. And it feels so nice. But it's the biggest lie there is. And in the end of days, when Mashiach comes, he's going to reveal all the false chen. And the Gemara Chazal, our sages point out that the letters of sheker are unique. I'm going to write it the way it's written in the Torah. That's a shin, looks like that. This is a cursive. Sheker, it says, Eina Raglayim. Sheker does not have legs, right? The shin is standing on how many points? 1. The kuf is standing on 1. The reish is standing on 1, which means, my kids try to do this as like who can stand on who could, I guess, sheker longer? Who could stand on 1 foot longer? And then inevitably one falls down because you can't stand on one leg forever. And I know somebody's going to probably write in or pipe in and say, yeah, but I saw a guy in the Guinness Book of World Records that he stood on one leg for like the last 45 years. Like the same guy from India that's got fingernails that are like wrapped around. It doesn't mean that he represents now that sheker is forever, because eventually he falls over as well. Not just his life, unless they bury him that way, but then the maggots will get him and he'll also fall over. So sheker will eventually fall over. Falsehood will eventually topple. But emes has 2 legs, has a whole base in the mem, another 2 legs, plus the sub is a larger leg. Emes, truth, is forever. True beauty, which is the beauty of Hashem, the beauty of your neshama, that's going to go on forever. Right now, that beauty is concealed because our Torah learning has become shvach. Shvach means is Yiddish for weak. But the emes, we know Aleph is what letter of the alphabet?
1.
The first letter. Mem is what letter of the alphabet? Right in the middle. And Sav is the last, which means emes is from the beginning all the way. Eternal. So the true beauty will last forever. Sheker achein, this temporary belief in the beauty of the movie stars, is just going to fade away. Okay? And we said that the way to get our chen back is to learn Torah. And we're going to talk more about how to do that. And we said the pasuk, Ayelas ahavim v'yalas chen. Shemalach chen aloim deh. When you learn Torah, your chen goes up. You become something of a beautiful person. Yeah.
What is the rest of it? What does Hevel mean?
Hevel is literally like breath. Is Hevel something substantial or something floaty, flimsy?
Floaty.
Yeah, what is it? It's just, like they say, his words are, he's just saying hot, it's just hot air.
It's also inspiration. It's how God gave man,
Beautiful, very good. So, Hevel means vanity. It means there's nothing there. So, Hevel HaYofi means when I think that external beauty is the end, be all and end all, then it's totally empty. When I realize that true beauty is the inner point of the soul, Hevel, then that's exactly, I'm tapping into the spiritual fabric of existence, which is completely beyond everything physical. Next paragraph. Rebbe Nachman is going to take us to the next level. He's going to have us do a bit of an activity called try to find God in everything. Okay? Look inside. Oh, by the way, just to point something out, Emes is Aleph. Aleph is the first letter of the alphabet. Aleph is the gematria of one, right? Everything in Hebrew and Torah means something very deep. So Aleph, which is one, represents God, which is one. Even the letter Aleph, this is the way, Aleph, okay, means Aleph, Aluf. Aluf means like a general, the exalted one, the one who's above. Like the head of the army is the Aluf Tati, or the Aluf. He's the head. He's high ranking. So God is the ultimate Aluf. He's called Alufo Shel Olam, an Aleph. He's the ultimate Aleph, and he's one. Because there's, in the world of physicality, is one a big number or a small number? If you look in your bank account and there's a one,
Small.
it's a small number. But in the world of spirituality, one is the biggest number. In the world of spirituality, one excludes everything else. Which means if something is one, it's the existence. There's nothing else. So in the world of physicality, when a person looks at one, oh, yeah, one. Yeah, one. Yeah, because you're just chasing more numbers. But in the world of spirituality, when you attach yourself to the one, you become the greatest. So God forbid a person who misses the Aleph, he pulls the Aleph, God forbid, out of his life. God forbid. What is he essentially doing? What's left? Mate. That's death. That's death. He's removing the God point in everything, saying that I don't see the oneness of God in everything. That's just death. Even though he might have a bank account that has, a lot of money in it. But he's dead. He's the walking dead. Says Rebbe Nachman, Ki isha Yisraeli tzarech tamid listakel be'aseichel shel kol davar. A Yid has to always look and meditate in what's called the seichel shebechol davar. This is a famous idea. This is like everything in Breslov. You have to look for something called the consciousness in everything. Which means when you wake up in the morning, you should be, you get dressed, use the bathroom, come to yeshiva, you go to work, and you think that, okay, I'm getting dressed, make sure I put my pants on the right way, I go to the bathroom and make sure that it's all working properly, and then I go onto the train and make sure I pay. So of course you have to think about all those things, but then there's another thing called, how do I find God in putting on my pants? How do I find God in going to the bathroom? How do I find God in making sure that I pay my fee to go on the train? How do I make sure that I find God when I call my clients, especially when they're yelling at me and I'm really getting upset at them? How do I see God in every single one of those moments? That's called, Rebbe Nachman just taught us, you have to see the seichel shebechol davar, the God consciousness in everything. Yeah.
Can you talk about the word seichel?
Seichel literally means like a mind. A mind, a brain. But it's much more than just the gray matter inside your head. inside the skull, it means the consciousness in everything. We're going to talk a lot more about it. But this pen has a certain point of consciousness. I don't mean if you have a conversation with it that he's going to respond. And I hope you don't do that. We'll have to talk privately afterwards. It means the point of consciousness is going to be the God spark that's creating this pen. How does this pen come into existence? And don't tell me from China.
It's like a conscious
Or the pen tree.
The ship made a man. Well, if you trace it all the way back, it came from plastic.
Do you think this pen is something from nothing
No.
or something from something?
Something from something.
Something from nothing.
So this is important. That's pretty good. You guys have been in yeshiva a little while, so you're smart, yeah?
In some sense, not we human beings, think that our consciousness is bringing it into being, because without consciousness, it's just a useless collection of atoms, but we give it.
So what about before based on that? It's a little bit like quantum physics. What the bleep do we know?
It's penness by virtue of the conscious observer of it.
So like a little bit of the what the bleep do we know quantum physics approach. So according to that man was only made on the sixth day. Did all the things that existed not exist because there was no man observer?
There is still consciousness.
But man only came on the sixth day. So what about the sun and the moon and the dolphins and the polar bears and the bumblebees?
Right. They have consciousness as well.
Well, they do. It's true.
Yeah.
The answer is that, and we talk a lot about this in Tanya, all of existence is being created every second from nothing. Yesh me'ayin. Something from nothing. If God wanted for 1 second that this pen should not exist, would the fact that it was made out of something from something, would that hold God back? Oh, sorry God, it's already something. You only have the power to bring something from nothing into existence. But once it's something, sorry, it lost your domain. Your dominion upon it is no longer absolute. The example of Al-Tanya is the following. And he says the reason why people make such a mistake with understanding creation, he says because these fools think that creation is something from something. And he gives an example. He says, imagine you have a silversmith who's making a goblet, a Kiddush cup, a beautiful silver goblet. So what does the silversmith do? He takes a hunk of silver and he heats it up and he melts it down and then he forms it into that mold of a beautiful becher. And then what happens? That silversmith has had a long day and he goes home and the silver cup stays there on the shelf. And the next day he comes and he sees that someone wants to buy it, and the person buys it, and he takes that silver cup, and who knows where he went with it. He took it home to his personal dwelling. He says, does the man who made the silver cup need to keep making sure that the cup is made? Or after he makes it, he can get up and walk home and have a nice dinner with his kids and wife and sing a lullaby to his kids to put them to bed. Does the cup still need the creator? Why not? Because it's something from something. The cup was made from something. I.e., you had a bunch of, silver eagle coins, and you put them all, and you melted them all down, and you made a goblet. So I took the silver coins, and I melted them into a cup. I just changed the form of the silver. So the creator just took silver and made it into something else. So these fools, says the Balatanya, who think this world is a bunch of soup that was then formed into something else, well, if it was just formed into something else based on an existing substance, then the creator can exit stage right and leave the creation. It has no more power over this pen. Because now the world has been created from something, and he just fashioned it and molded it like the cup, and now he can leave and go on to, other universes, do whatever you want. Now there's always a couple smart yeshiva guys that say, from the soup? Yeah, but where did the soup come from? Where did that come from? Who made the soup? Okay, there was a soup, right? And then it evolved. But where did the soup come from? Finite is a non-starter. You need infinite to start finite. Right? These are just basics. So, those who think that this pen can exist without God are of the foolish understanding that this world has created something from something. Rather, this world is being created something from nothing. In other words, if God for 1 second withdraws himself and his consciousness from this pen, you know what happens to the pen? Okay, that was just a trick. Hashem! Oh my goodness! Right on cue. Thank you, Hashem. We understand that this pen is God creating it every single second. That's why when the Balatani was on his deathbed and he was looking up at the rafters of the ceiling, we mention this all the time, and he said to his grandson, he said, what do you see? And he said, Zaidi, I see the beams, the rafters of the building. He said, what do you see? He said, I see the Hebrew letters of Kaira, Kuf, Vav, Reish, Hey, that means beam, creating and shining in and out of existence, creating this beam right now. Sounds matrixy. Now you know where they got it from. That if God wasn't constantly putting energy into the system, which means himself, through speech and breath, then everything would cease to exist in 1 second. When Mashiach comes, we're going to see that for real. And the great Kabbalists already realize that now. So Rebbe Nachman is telling us, when you wake up and you go to work, and you put on your pants and you go to the bathroom and you get on to the train, and then you speak to that angry client, you have to know that there's a God consciousness in every single one of those moments that's telling you a message, that's speaking to you. Yeah.
How would you differentiate between levels of consciousness? There's a difference qualitatively between the consciousness that this book would have versus a dog versus us.
That's called doimim, soimer, chaim edaber, which means mineral life consciousness, plant life, which has a greater consciousness, it's already animated, it's moving. Animal consciousness, where there's already a level of a higher nefesh, there's a certain animation of character that's there. And then human consciousness, which is even greater. Which, of course, this goes completely against the belief that my alta zeta was a chimpanzee. By the way, just to tell you something, Yaakov Kamenetsky, Zatzal, he one time was with somebody who was not exactly such a Torah person, and he noticed that Rabbi Yaakov, who was the greatest Torah sage in America in the last generation, his children really respected him and really looked up to him, and it was a very beautiful thing to see his kids with the father. But this other person who rejected Torah, his kids were really not into their father, and there was a lot of problems in the house. And he said to Rabbi Yaakov, he said, I don't know, why are my kids so disobedient, but I see that your kids are so loving and respectful to you. He said, there's one fundamental difference. My children believe that God gave us a Torah at Mount Sinai. And therefore, my son realized that I'm one generation closer to the pure, undiluted tradition. And therefore, my children are doing anything possible to hold on to the pristine tradition of Mount Sinai. But your children see themselves as you coming from an ape. And therefore, they see the further back they look, the more primitive. So they reject you in order to get more advanced. If you came down to this planet just to hear those words, Dayenu. It puts everything into perspective. So Rebbe Nachman is telling us that we have to find the seichel. I'm going to talk a lot more about that. I just want to say a couple more words. Ulakasher atzmai ala chachma ve'aseichel sheyesh b'chol davar. Pay attention to that word chachma. to fuse yourself into the wisdom, the God consciousness in every single thing. That when you can connect yourself to the God consciousness in everything is a message for you. There's a reason why you know those people, why you're in this place at this time, that you're in Yerushalayim, or wherever you are, all around the world, that you're thinking, and that God is talking to you. Not like Morgan Freeman, a voice out of the sky like that. I am the Lord. Nothing like that. That's also, we'll talk on the side afterwards. But God is sending messages to you. And if you can connect yourself to that God consciousness, what's going to happen? Sheyesh b'chol davar l'skarv la'Hashem yisborach k'dei sheyor lo yaseichel. Sheyesh b'chol davar. When you connect to it, all of a sudden God will shine to you from that place, and you'll connect to Hashem. You'll cleave to Hashem al dei oisa davar, through that very thing. And you'll realize there's a reason why this cat walked in front of me. Not superstition. But God is talking to me. There's a reason why I've had these friends. I'm in this place at this time, and there's a reason why I served 2 types of chicken for lunch today with that corn salad I really like. There's a reason for that. And Ramadan put extra hot peppers in the tomato salad today. I was very happy about that because I could use a little bit of that hot pepper thing just to flush out if there's any mucus. It was very nice. I was connecting to the seichel sheb'chol davar and that hot pepper. Hashem, you knew that I need a little bit right now, just some mucus detox. We literally had like a plate of hot peppers. It didn't have to be that way. But God was winking to me. And you start fusing yourself in. It's no longer just, let's get some hot peppers on the side. Yeah, we like hot peppers. It's no longer just random. Life's not random. Life is precise. Life is divinely ordained. Life is divine. If you can follow this like treasure map, that there's literally signposts, like you see these little lights, like you're in a dark forest and you see that somebody lit little LED lights along the path, and all of a sudden at each one of those lights there's a message there, and there's something there for you to eat, and there's a card that's whispering something to you that you need in your life right now, how to get past the next obstacle, and how to understand what the obstacle is, and that it's not even really such an obstacle, it's just another way that God is saying, come close to me. Even in the obstacles, we're going to see there's a seichel sheb'chol davar, there's a consciousness. And that's called the chachma. So Rebbe Nachman added another layer today. He said we have to restore our chen. And we do that by learning Torah. And if we don't have our chen, our tefillahs are not going to be answered. And the way we have to do is by learning Torah. And the way that we're going to get to that is through seeing this thing called the seichel sheb'chol davar, looking for the consciousness in everything. And that consciousness, we have to attach ourselves to that consciousness. And that consciousness is called chachma. And we're going to see next time that consciousness is represented by one of the archetypical characters in the Bible, the Torah. And his name is Jacob, Yaakov Avinu. And the antithesis of the one who rejects that God is talking to me in every single moment, of course, is Esau. He's the one that covers up that there's any consciousness in anything. He's the one that says that don't think that there's a soul inside of you. You came from a monkey. And our mission is to find the neshama, the seichel sheb'chol davar, the chachma, the point of wisdom that's giving everything life, which of course is your soul, which of course is that which is bonded to God Himself. To be continued, my dearest friends. I hope by tomorrow we have a base of English that's built, and we're bringing korbanos, and b'ezrat Hashem, all of Klal Yisrael and all of humanity will be returning to Yerushalayim, the arena. Amen. Have a wonderful day. Kol Tov.